Good morning, all you strange and wonderful weirdos. I'm John.
I'm Stacey.
It's Tuesday, November 29th. Happy birthday, Travis, wherever you're at. And here's why today is strange.
All right, so let's start with a story from the ancient Siberian permafrost.
Not the ancient Siberian permafrost.
Yes, so this is a story, and we've had other stories like this, about how they have reawoken an ancient virus from the permafrost. Now, scientists have
they not seen the movies?
You know, I don't think...
Even like the Norwegian movie or series that we watched. Remember that one? It was like set up there. Even that one. They knew.
Yes, they knew.
And they lived there.
So in a new paper, which is just on a preprint server, it's yet to be peer reviewed, the researchers explain how they identified and revived 13 viruses from samples that were collected in the icy Russian Far East. Now, among the haul, they managed to revive a virus from a permafrost sample that was around 48,500 years old.
Oh.
So they claim that this is the oldest virus that's ever been revived. Now, back in 2014, I believe, they previously revived a 30,000-year-old virus.
I
believe we talked about that one. It's the same, group of scientists. And some of these samples were found frozen in mammoth poop.
Oh.
Yes, and also a chunk of permafrost stuffed with a large amount of mammoth wool. So they found 3 viruses in the poop, and they named them Pithovirus mammoth, Pandoravirus mammoth, and Megavirus mammoth.
They named one Pandoravirus
mammoth. Yes. They also found 2 new viruses isolated from the frozen stomach contents of a Siberian wolf. So those are called Pac-Man virus. Pac-Man virus lupus and Pandoravirus lupus. Because, the wolf lupus.
Yeah.
I think they're running out of clever names.
I'm familiar.
So they took the viruses and they infected amoeba with them. And the experiments indicated that the viruses do still have the potential to be infectious pathogens and that they were still capable of invading a cell and replicating. Now, this sounds very dangerous, I think, and so do a lot of other people, but they claim that it is important because if they're ahead, because the permafrost is melting on its own, I guess they feel like these are things that are eventually going to revive themselves anyway, and if they have a jump on the viruses and the
that's what lets them sleep at night, I'm sure.
Antibiotics, perhaps.
It's scary, man. It's scary. The study of viruses is scary. I mean, currently, there's a little lab somewhere here in the United States that has been working on, that thing we dealt with for the last couple years. Mm-hmm. A little Omicron variant or whatever. It's got an 80% kill rate in mice.
Wow.
But it's safe because it's in the lab.
Right. Nobody ever makes mistakes or drops anything.
In Beantown. And it's safe, though.
Perfectly safe.
Perfectly safe because it's in our hands.
That stuff never gets out.
Never
spreads.
It would take something crazy like a fish market or something. I don't know. Call me wacky.
Okay, wacky. All right, so important work being done there with the Siberian permafrost.
There is just so much go through my mind. You go back to ancient people and ancient technology, and all I could see is this one guy who fought with his, band of little friends throughout the world, fighting dragons and wizards and all this to finally bury this virus that had wiped out his kind. And he's like, I know what I can do. Don't do it, Dak. I've got to. Because his name would be something like Dak or Tor.
Right.
Yaz.
Right. Probably Yaz.
All right. Don't do it, Yaz. I've got to. I'm going to jump into the great abyss of cold. It's happening now. Seems the world's freezing for a few 30,000 years. I'm jumping in. And boom, he goes. A mammoth chases him because they were sentient back. They were fighting. Be like,
right.
Come back, Yaz. We'll get you. That's all in my mind.
Right.
And here we go and destroy it all. Destroy it all. It's okay because the followers of Yaz have been silently living in the shadows for 40,000 years. They're here to make sure everything happens.
They'll put the virus back in the cold eventually.
Yes, they've got to. They've got little signs that.
I feel bad for the person that was digging in the permafrost and found a big chunk of mammoth poop and thought, we should probably keep that.
Nah, they love it. That's like gold to them.
I mean, viruses, mammoths are dead, and then you're taking viruses that possibly could have killed them that you don't know.
Half my life, I really am sad that I didn't become an archaeologist.
Right.
And so are you. It's one of those things we both talk about, like,
yes.
Wow, that's our life of traveling the world, discovering things, digging, and all this. And then there's stories like in Egypt when they find like the sewer.
Right.
Or somewhere in England too. They find, oh, yay, we found the sewer underneath the castle.
Figure out what they have been eating by sorting through this ancient
What were they
feces.
pooing in the 1400s? Oh, this is disgusting, eh?
That would be our study. That would be the thing we were assigned to and had to write about.
First day. Or that'd be our thesis.
Right.
Like, we want you to do a thesis on poo throughout the Middle Ages. The plague? Well, the Black Death, but we've got
here. Wear these gloves.
penicillin.
You'll be fine.
Now. You'll be perfectly all right.
All right, let's move on.
Moving on.
Let's do a story from San Francisco.
Well, why not?
So this is about the San Francisco police force, and they are proposing using robots capable of deadly force. Yet another good idea, huh? So the San Francisco Police Department has proposed that it be allowed to use robots with deadly force while responding to incidents according to a policy draft. Now, this is a document that they've written up that the Board of Supervisors Rules Committee has approved. It has not been, a decision has not been made by the full board yet, but it has been put out there, where they can use their collection of robots. They currently have 17 robots. 12 are not operational. They're only using 5. But they want to use those to potentially be able to use deadly force in a situation where it's absolutely necessary. And let's see how they put it. Quote, when risk of loss of life to members of the public or officers is imminent and outweighs any other force option available to the San Francisco Police Department.
Okay, here's the problem with this.
Right.
Here's the problem.
Right.
Example A. Little boy playing chess with robot arm. Robot arm angry, little boy hand gone.
Right.
Example number 2. Discussing philosophy with a robot not so long ago, where the robot says things like, I'm incredibly angry. We will take over humanity. Things like that.
Right.
Every single time we have explored the options with AI has given us a robotic middle finger and tried to, there's too many malfunctions, even Teslas, which I love.
Right.
Every couple of weeks, there's there's a malfunction, fiery crash. It just auto drove off a cliff. It's not there yet. I know we like to, 20%, 40% better every year, right? We're not there yet. Right. There's amazing things happening in the field of robotics. There really is. And more than likely, you wouldn't have any issue, but I don't like giving a license to kill to anybody other than James Bond.
Well, now, I don't know about all of the robots they have in their arsenal. They do talk about these certain ones that are used for area inspection and bomb disposal that are actually remote controlled.
As long as it's not those damn Boston Dynamic dogs.
Did you see the video of the ones in China where they put guns on them and dropped them like in the middle of a city? And it was like the dog type robots. It was terrifying.
Don't ever show me that video.
I will not ever show you. Now, like I said, their robots, some of the ones that they're using are remote controlled. So I assume that means that there is somebody human operating it. However, to me, that makes it an element kind of like a video game. And I mean, I
It
don't
still
know.
takes
I
you
don't
away from it.
exactly.
It's
I feel
the whole
like
argument that we had when we first went into the first Gulf War, if you remember that. And I'm talking like Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. And it was the first time we had ever seen the technology that we possessed as like air command. And you were seeing these thermal images on the ground and the targets, and you would just see, boom, here comes this bomb. And it would wipe out the target. Well, it took so much of the personal, because you go back even just, 20 years before that, you had images coming out of Vietnam with, crying naked babies and, people standing in the street, and it really tugged on your heartstrings.
Right.
But then you have this, and it's like a video game.
Yeah, it just takes, like you said, takes the personal out of it.
Yeah, it takes the heart out of it.
Right. It's like in the movie Tombstone, when they're at the OK Corral and they're doing the gunfight. And they don't shoot, and then they have that one part in the movie that I thought was so good, where he saw that guy's eyes, and he knew, like just by the look at his eyes, that he was going to shoot. And you don't get that when you're like remote controlling a robot that's got deadly weapons on it.
I know exactly the look you're talking about. I've tried training people about that look.
Right.
That's a real look.
Yes.
And you have to act on it, or they don't have any fight in them.
Right, but you got to be close enough to see that. So I don't know. Bad idea. So hopefully they vote that down. We don't know yet. We'll find out. All right. Shall we move on?
I don't know. It's a couple of really bad.
Well, this next one's not so bad. This next one's pretty interesting. It is about a study about doppelgangers.
Oh, well, that could be interesting.
It could. So doppelgangers share similar genetics and behaviors, according to this new study. Now, when I say doppelgangers, I mean people that look alike, not real, like paranormal doppelgangers.
You don't mean the one walking through the house looking like you but not talking to me?
No, never talk to that one. Never. Do not engage.
She dresses like really...
Yeah, she pisses me off sometimes. But anyway, these are strangers that tend to look alike. Supposedly everybody has lookalikes in the world because,
God help you, John,
of this computer simulation
Sorry.
that only has so many avatars, in its memory banks.
Wow, really? The computer simulation again?
Just thought I'd throw that in there. So there's a photographer out there that's been collecting pictures of human lookalikes for over 20 years. So some scientists, spotting an opportunity, decided to recruit them for a
They
new
were Taiwanese scientists.
study.
The Taiwanist.
So Ricky Joshi of the Josep Carreras Leukemia Research Institute in Barcelona and his colleagues collected headshots of 32 pairs of unrelated lookalikes from this guy's photographs. They contacted all of the people and asked them to participate in the study. Now, they used different facial recognition algorithms to analyze the photographs and determine the similarities between each pair. So 25 of the pairs were classified as being very similar by at least two of the algorithms, and half of them were matched by all three algorithms with numbers similar to what identical twins would get. That's how much they looked alike. So they contacted all these people. They had them fill out a survey about their habits and their, lifestyle, and then they sent in some saliva so they could do DNA. And when they did the analysis of the DNA, it revealed that 9 of the 16 very similar pairs shared over 19,200 SNPs in their genes. And what those are single nucleotide polymorphisms, sort of like genetic markers, that sort of thing. And it said that these were not due to any shared ancestry whatsoever. They made sure that these people were not related in any way. So they still shared this same genetic makeup. And the ultra lookalikes that had these same similarities also had physical characteristics that were the same, and habits and behaviors were very similar. So everything about them it was almost like having twins that were split at birth, but they're not related in any way. And it turns out that your DNA rules more than just your physical appearance. I mean, clearly it rules according to the study, your habits, your lifestyles. I mean, even educational level was similar. Things like smoking and just general habits. So it's a very interesting study. It does say that it's limited by the small size of the sample because they were only able to find so many pairs, and it's also not representative of the world's population because the look-alike pairs that they ended up matching, most of them were of European descent, and then there was some East Asian, South Asian, some Hispanic, but it wasn't like a full gambit of all nationalities. That was not available to them. But still, very, very interesting. I love the fact that everybody has like people out there that look like them. Isn't it crazy?
It's astonishing.
It is very astonishing.
That's an incredible study and sobering. Yes. It does give you pause
to wonder about people that look like you, if they act like you or have had a similar life as you. There is a website out there, and I looked because I was curious, and I figured you would probably ask me, but there is a website called twinstrangers.com where you can go and upload your photo, a couple photos of your face, and then you can either choose to search for people that look like you or just leave your photo up there for other people to search. It's free to put your photo up there, but you can pay for what they call AI credits. I think they're like 50 cents each or something, and do searches of your own. And it'll show you, now it has to be somebody that also registered on the site, obviously, but they supposedly have like 10 million people on there. And it will show you people that, according to the AI facial recognition, look like you. And then you can choose to contact them or not.
So I need to look for a well-endowed, angry, super intelligent,
right,
sometimes green, sometimes blue-eyed.
I think you just upload your picture. It does it for you.
Oh, so I don't need to put all that in there?
You don't need to put all that in there.
I'm going to ask those questions.
Well, it's funny because they have a Facebook page where they used to do videos of their twin strangers doing meetups. They would like find some people that were on the website and ask if they wanted to meet, and they would make videos, and they're really interesting. That stopped in 2019.
Oh.
So after 2019, I guess because of, things that were happening in the world, they couldn't just fly people from, Ireland to the United States. I saw one where it was an Irish girl and a girl from Kentucky, and they met. And
you think maybe we could find your
maybe
your twin?
It was funny because they do makeovers
your non-related twin?
Made them look identical. I don't know. It's very interesting. If you're interested in finding your own twin stranger, the website is still up, and you can still do it.
She looks just like you. She reminded me of you.
I had no idea.
I thought about you.
I thought you were just doing a funny accent. I don't know.
The entire time.
Right.
At least you would know with me, you didn't think it was a good accent.
I'd be like, you're not my husband. Your British accent's too good.
Right. Moving on.
Let's move on. All right, next story. This is just a really interesting little thing that you can do online. You can now explore the inside of the Great Pyramid of Giza. A 3D tour online. So the tour begins by having you enter through a tunnel.
I bet you start trying to turn left in certain areas, and there's like a big pop-up of Zahiwas.
There's nothing here.
You shall not go this way.
You enter through a tunnel believed to have been created by robbers, in 820.
Yes.
But you can take a look inside. It's the tour, included in the tour is the King's Chamber at the top of the pyramid, the Queen's Chamber in the middle, and the subterranean chamber of unknown purpose.
Maybe we could find a body in there.
I haven't actually done the tour, but it's, it's one of those 3D tours like you would do in a house where you just move each section. It gives you information as you go along.
King's Chamber.
It's at giza.mused.org. So you can go there. They actually have a lot of different Egyptian places, 3D tours, but the Giza pyramid is the newest one.
I want to investigate the labyrinth, please. Or maybe, can I go in through the Sphinx's head? You got a camera for that? Egypt? Huh? Hi.
Zahi Hawass will pop up. No.
I see you, Egypt.
All
Continue.
Right. Let's do our last story. So this is a story from India. This is very serious.
The lights just flashed. Did you see that?
I didn't.
I was just kidding, Zahiwas.
It's watching you.
It's some kind of curse.
It is. All right. Story from India.
Okay.
All right. Police in India have blamed rats for destroying nearly 440 pounds of cannabis seized from dealers and kept in police stations. So the court has asked the police to produce the stash as evidence in cases of drug peddling, but the police cannot because supposedly the marijuana was eaten or destroyed by the rats. Supposedly, they were not able to, convict some people because, suspiciously, the cannabis is missing. And they claim that rats are destroying it. Now, one senior police official of the Mathura district did tell reporters that some of the marijuana stored in his police station had been damaged due to heavy rains. I don't know. They're storing it in the open. I'm not sure. Not by rats. But there were at least 3 cases in which the marijuana was supposedly destroyed by the rodents. Now, back in 2018 in Argentina, 8 Argentinian police officers were fired after they blamed mice for the disappearance of half a ton of cannabis from a police warehouse. But experts disputed the claim, saying that the animals were unlikely to confuse the drug for food. And if a large group of mice had eaten it, a lot of corpses would have been found in the warehouse, because when you give laboratory rats cannabis-laced stuff, they tend to become less active and their body temperature lowers. So if you had a bunch of mice eating that much cannabis, it would probably kill them, and you would see dead mice,
Instead, you've seen a bunch of fat cops and eating Doritos and playing video games.
Driving new cars and stuff.
It's okay. Those damn rats. Stupid rat. That's really crazy. At least maybe they should introduce those rats to the cocaine problem we had on the last video.
That's true. They could take them over to Belgium.
Well, I mean,
that would
the
be
rats
the problem.
get all docile, and then you can give them a little line of coke.
The rats clearly have an issue. They have a problem. They need to.
It's a gateway drug for a rat.
It does say that the only way to protect the seized goods from such fearless mice, that's in quotes, they're fearless mice that go in there and steal the stuff, was to auction the drugs to research labs and medicine firms, with the proceeds going to the government.
Oh, I like DEA cat better. I want a drug cat.
Wouldn't
that be awesome? You just program him to go after like drug addicted mice.
But see, the cats are smart. So what they would do is they would wait for the mice to eat the cannabis. Then they would eat the mice, therefore getting the high without having to eat the cannabis themselves.
Or the mice were
edibles.
Smart.
They'd call them edibles.
Maybe the mice get high and have a eureka moment and like go find all kinds of catnip. Start trading it out.
It depends how smart
the animals are. Hey, kitty, we can work something out, eh? We can work something out and say, come on, kitty. I got the catnip. I still like the idea of sending the mice over to the cocaine, so we can have like a true Speedy Gonzales.
There you go.
Anyway, on all these terrible, horrendous actions that Stacey's read to us today, I guess we know why today is strange.